3. All right, we are.
Oh, no, we're live now. Let that play for a little bit for Chris there. Welcome to the Demand Better podcast, your ultimate consumer's guide in the health, fitness, and wellness space. We are sponsored by Fit Care Physiotherapy and Wellness, with the emphasis to focus on your fitness so you can avoid the healthcare space. I'm your host, Corona, coming to you from the concrete jungle of New York City, and joining me as always is my esteemed co-host, Dr. Bo Babenko, who's in Erie, Colorado. What's up, man?
What's up? Chris Cornell, Soundgarden. Let's not get sued.
Okay. You got anything to tell your people? Or everything, status quo?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Growing, being busy. We're recording this February 28th, 2024. It's going to be the leap year tomorrow.
Great
year.
Well,
getting more clients here, man. It's good. Getting out there. The Boulderites are finding me.
Today we're thrilled to have a true industry veteran with us. Give us a warm welcome for Chris Colucci. With nearly 25 years of diverse experience, Chris has excelled in various roles, from training kids, martial artists, athletes, and seniors, to shaping the narratives of world-class coaches as a writer and an editor at T Nation and Breaking Muscle. Chris's impact on the fitness industry is profound. Through his work at Right Spotters, Chris is on the mission to elevate the writing skills of trainers worldwide, empowering them to communicate with expertise effectively. Chris's dedication to health and fitness spans over 2 decades, starting from his days at the local supplement store and achieving brown belt in Kempo Jiu-Jitsu. His journey includes teaching martial arts, personal training clients of all ages, and collaborating with legendary strength figures. In his spare time, Chris immerses himself in the physical culture of the late 19th and early 20th centuries of balancing family life and nurturing his passion for gardening. As the editor of Breaking Muscle and the associate editor of Forum director at T Nation, Chris Colucci brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our podcast today. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate the chance to be here. Yay.
Yay. Now, I'll share the background real quick that we recently had Shane McLean on, and Chris and Shane are working on a project. We're not necessarily promoting that project yet because it's not quite ready. But Shane was like, you guys should talk. He had a good time on here, believe it or not, despite what we did with him and to him. But yeah, so here we are. I chatted with Chris a little bit the other day and said, yeah, let's jump on, let's talk. And again, sounds like we're all kind of aligned. The goal here, I'm gonna lay out now, is that we're not going to be grumpy old men talking about kids these days and what the personal trainers, what's wrong with them, even though that is kind of the idea of the Demand Better podcast, where Corona and I started this show around the fact that we see so many things wrong with the fitness industry, and we're going to try to not just make it that, that whatever you want to call it. What am I thinking of?
Listen, we're trying to empower people and to give people in this information highway that you're getting so much thrown at you. We're trying to make this a place for you to come to get information and to expand your mind and really do the things that are going to be time efficient and work for you, specifically for you. This isn't about everybody, one size fits all. We're trying to get you in the mindset of focusing on you for the best person that you can be. Go ahead, Dr. Bo.
Echo chamber. I was trying to say echo chamber.
Oh, I went into a whole different thing. Sorry, Mike.
You did. So, Chris, we're talking here, or get us caught up. So you're out in Long Island.
Yep.
But one of the big things we're talking about here is that the art form of writing, the written word, it is not dead yet, despite the fact TikTok and YouTube and where we are live, we're talking. But the written word is not dead. We also recently had Tony Gentlecore on here. He is a huge writer in this fitness space, and being able to, I think, express your thoughts in the written word does speak to a higher level of expertise and experience. And to me, when I can read that and see something laid out very nicely, I definitely get impressed, and I say, yeah, who's this guy? Who's this Chris Colucci guy? And what's he got to say? So yeah, tell us a little bit about what you want to talk about with the written word not being dead.
Well, I think like you said, there's so much video content available with social media as a whole. A lot of trainers think writing about fitness, that's magazines, and nobody reads magazines. Nobody buys magazines. That's it. So there's no reason to write. I just do videos or whatever. But it almost comes back to like why you want to write. Like you can write as a business tool for promotion. You can write because you love writing, which is fine. You can write to educate and just to as another tool in your toolbox to get your word out and your information out. So I think the prevailing thought is that writing is dead as just a broad term, but I think that's super short-sighted because like there's so many more avenues. It's another avenue that you can use to be a trainer. Like not everyone can afford in-person lessons. So you could write up a program, send it out every 4 months, 4 weeks, whatever. It's just another thing you can do, but it's easy now to say, I don't have to. Like nobody does, I don't have to, but people do. Like books, like the publishing business is still a multi-billion-dollar industry. People are buying books. So, fitness magazines, like we used to see in Borders, or Barnes & Noble, like those aren't there anymore, really. But it's trainers don't just write to be in magazines. There's so much more and so many other reasons to write.
But so I'm going to jump you right there because let me trainers aren't really attending to their clients now. I mean, that's what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing guys replicate the same program for 3-4 hours in certain facilities where you're sitting there and you're working around somebody and they're really, the man better is about meeting you where you're at. And I think writing, I've read some of your stuff. You're a great writer. And you're funny and you're to the point. Shane has a way of writing. Tony Gentlecore has a funny way of writing. I like reading you guys, but I don't think trainers are. I think trainers are short in mindset and lizard brain, as Bo would say. I think they're very, very lizard brain, and I don't think that they don't look at that as something lucrative because that takes time, and that's the same thing with fitness. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing in the island?
I mean, I think so. The time perspective is a great point because people can throw together a YouTube video or whatever in half hour, 10 minutes, an hour, and it's done and it's out there. Writing takes time to sit down, takes time to get your thoughts together, it takes time to put on the paper. Like a blank paper is terrifying. Okay. But it takes time to edit after it's done. There's a lot of steps involved in creating written content. But it's so much more useful and it can get spread so much farther than a video that takes an hour for somebody to watch. Like most YouTube videos, I'll do like the 1.5 speed just to get through them because I don't miss too much content.
Yeah.
But
I do 2x.
It depends on who's talking.
Yeah,
some people
that's true.
The
Aussies like Shane and the Brits, very hard at 2x.
Mm-hmm. But yes, definitely. So videos are faster to produce, but potentially more time consuming for the user. I think writing is sometimes inverted. It takes a lot more time to write something and get it out there, but people can consume it, they can digest it a little more quickly and really put into action, easier.
Do you find it because people don't have a long attention span? I mean,
well, it's true, but that comes down to how you write, and that gets into your voice as a writer, the outlet that you're writing for. If you're writing an Instagram post, if you're writing a Facebook post, if you're writing for a T Nation, a Breaking Muscle, a bodybuilding.com, or whatever, a training site, each one of those has their own voice. So that's about engaging the reader, and that takes skill. My one example that I tell a lot of coaches is like if you read an article, what a Tony Gentlecore article sounds like. Like he has a voice. Some authors, some coaches who write don't. It's just words. And that's when it gets dull. That's when it's tedious to get through. That's when, people kind of phase out. So that keeping their attention, just like during a 45-minute or 60-minute training session, if you're a good trainer, you'll stay engaged with the client. Like you said, you're not gonna sit down. You're not gonna be like, whatever. In my day, we didn't text. We couldn't text. But you're right. But you know, that's about good writing. It comes down to being good at what you're doing. And not everybody can. Like some people are just better on video. Some people are more personable. Some people just can't write, and that's fine. That's on them.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Has the attention span of people changed your writing style throughout the years? In terms of your message, less long form?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think. Most of the articles that I've written or edited over the years, it's not like we've said, we can't put out 3,000 word articles anymore because the traffic doesn't work. Like people read 3,000 word articles. People read a 4,500 word article if it's good information presented well.
If there's enough Wu-Tang references.
Yes, sir.
A la Tony Gentilcore. Tony Gentilcore.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's right.
I don't think he's written anything without a Wu-Tang reference.
One source of pride I have is I fit a Willy Wonka reference into a body part split article.
Interesting.
And I don't know if anybody caught it, but it made me happy. And that's all it takes. That's all you need to do.
There you go.
That's it.
Internal passion to keep going.
I mean, that's what you have to do. If you choose to write well, because also that's going to be the role of an editor. Will tell you this is too much, like it's not working, and then you're not going to get writing gigs. So you're cutting yourself off in a business sense there.
I guess I have to ask, with the recent expansion of AI, all the chat GPTs and all, have you found that to be deleterious in your industry in terms of this whole writing is not dead? Yeah. Where do you fit with that?
It's tricky and it's muddy and it's dangerous. Editors are aware that lazy writers can go to ChatGPT and say, give me a 1,500 word article about how to squat, and you'll get one created in seconds. But, no offense to the cyborg industry, but it sounds like a robot. It's not like it's not good writing. It gets the job done. The information is out there, presuming it's correct, which accuracy and safety and whatnot is still an issue with AI written content. But you can tell. Like you can tell when something doesn't sound right. So yes, it's a thing. As AI improves, it might be even more tricky to spot who's cutting corners like that. But as of right now,
I can just say, ChatGPT, write me 1,500 words on how to squat better as Tony Gentilcore. Or as Chris Colucci, and it'll take all your articles and synthesize that. That's the future, man.
There'll be so many movie references.
Yeah.
Let's not give people that idea. But I played around with the GPT, and I said, write me a 500-word article, a horror story in the voice of Mark Twain. Just playing around, just whatever, messing around. And it was like fine. It was some riverboat going up the Mississippi with a ghost captain. And I'm like, I could kind of see him writing that if that's what he did. So it's a thing. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, especially image-wise for like video assistance if people don't want to be on camera or whatever. I can only imagine where that's going to lead with exercise demonstrations and whatever, 9 fingers curling a barbell or whatever. But it's another thing that's out there.
No, I just think there's a lot of people out there they become lazy when it comes to certain things like this. And what we're looking at is, you can watch a Bo video about how to do an exercise or a Shane video. You have personality, you can attach yourself to that. I think I'm not a big online training person, as Bo knows, because I believe when people make a mistake movement wise, that's going to be replicated. And I'm going to have to break that habit at some point in time to get them back to a neutral setting. So I think there's the idea that AI is going to fully take over writing. And I don't think that's going to happen. Just like I don't think that that online training is going to take over in-person training either.
I mean, not take over, but there will be people that want to make a quick buck.
Sure.
Just like unfortunately, anybody can call themselves a trainer and con a couple of people to hire them with zero credentials, zero credibility, just a couple social media posts and a charming smile, and have AI write the programming, and whatever happens to those people happens because the cashes are checked. Checks are cashed.
That kind of leads us into jumping over the professionalism, but going into the fit influencer industry, because we did a thing on a Danielle Davis out of Texas, was a girl who was in Texas who was doing workout videos, and she made a ton of money and then got sued by the state of Texas for not producing any content for the clientele. So she was essentially stealing. Now she's running a Christian leadership school in Texas. That's what she's doing now.
Surprise.
But you're kind of walking in. Listen, there's a lot. The stuff that you have to do to be successful in training is boring. It's not something that people are going to be able to go out there and do. And what we're seeing, and Bo says it best, they're out doing the sexy. We're going to do the sexiest thing out there, and then we're going to just go out there and we're going to make this happen. But again, it goes back to the personalization of the trainer not being lazy and finding what works for you to get you from point A to point B. And now we're seeing fit influencers jump in who have zero knowledge, no credibility. It's no different than a nutritionist. And you sit there, and how hard, listen, I tell this all the time. People research a car better than they research a trainer. And I just don't get it.
I mean, like if you're walking down the street and you see a door that says chiropractor, you go in and the guy says, my back doesn't hurt, so let me crack your spine.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to do that. But that's what it is. I've seen, there's a popular fitfluencer who irks me to no end, wrote an article about how to cure back pain. His words: step 1, walk with 10-pound ankle weights all day.
What?
Are you being kidding me? I read a little bit more just to aggravate myself.
You're going to have to tell me who this is. If you're not going to call him out live here, tell me after.
I mean, I'll open it to messages, whatever.
Yeah.
But the same dude, the same child, wrote a novice training article, like aimed at beginners, titled Novice Workout, has weighted chin-ups, weighted planks, 6-rep preacher curls. Like, fucking no. But that's the barrier to entry. There's no barrier to entry. Want to guess how many 6 figures of followers that guy has, though? 0 credentials other than I look good. I mean, I'm in good shape, and I started a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
it's bonkers. It's bonkers, and no other industry would do that.
No, wait, this drives me crazy. Bo knows this. This drives me. I mean, literally, this drives me absolutely crazy. You've seen some dude in his house with, whatever at his desk, hanging out, feet up, training somebody, or and giving people fitness advice, and it's just kind of like, what are you doing? And your most important asset's you. So why aren't you putting the time and the effort in to find the appropriate person? Our first pod was, here's 5 things to do to go find a trainer. 5. And that more. And one of those things was try more than one. How about you try 5 trainers and see who's going to meet you where? And it's always not the most sexy trainer that's going to be there. And it's kind of like the same thing that's going on now. Guy's 25, probably eats McDonald's, drinks a lot of beer, got a 6-pack, rocking abs, and he's coming in giving you a program, and you're believing. And you're 50 years old thinking, I want to look like him, and you're never going to look like him.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. It's a credibility issue. It's people get into the business because it's easy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And like, there's nobody to call them out on it, and there's not even call out. There's no repercussions. Like, there's no governing body. There's no global governing body that says, as a fitfluencer, you need XYZ credentials. Like, you can't just decide I'm going to start a training business because I worked out for 18 months, so I can train people. I can cure back pain. That's not a very alpha thing to do. It's alpha destiny. It bothers me. That's a guy. Yes, it's unfortunately too easy, and that's only happened really online, because before social media was a thing, you couldn't really get away with just calling yourself a trainer, going into a gym and getting a bunch of clients or revenue, you know. Like you could do maybe in your neighborhood if you're the jack guy on the block, if you're the high school football coach, whatever, you get some clients. But social media has made it, you know, internet celebrity in general is not the best thing. It's not really a career path that maybe should be. And fitness influencer on social is even more niche, which we don't need it. Like it, or which is fine. And these are the folks that have come in with no skills, no credibility other than I worked out, so I think I can tell other people how. If you're a beginner and you're a certified trainer, if you're a person who has done a contest, like not even done well, but if you've competed in anything yourself, cool. Then get your word out. Tell people what you did. But don't cross that line of, I can help the 46-year-old, and I can help the postpartum mom, and no, can't.
No, but I think
he has 400,000 followers, by the way, 400,000 on YouTube.
No, that's kind of insane. I just totally lost my track of thought when that guy has 4,000 followers.
400,000. 400,000.
I mean, good on him. He worked the system. Cool.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
No, it's just I there's two things, like I said, that really, really irk me about the whole thing. And number one is the barrier to entry, and you have to blame the consumer because they've essentially dumbed down the industry. They've actually dumbed down the industry. Say, look at these 5 exercises will get you from point A to point B. Do them every day. This rep cycle, this that. I see people in the gym all the time. Treadmill at 12 because it's an Instagram thing, I guess. Treadmill at 12. Walking at 3.3. Yeah. Yeah. So, and you see people like right across the thing, you know, one next to the other, all doing the same workout. It's insane, man. It's insane.
I mean, yeah. Ultimately, it's again just like internet celebrities. It's the people who give them attention, the people who give them dollars. Like that fellow we were talking about wrote a 400-page ebook, and I based on his blogging, I am sorry for anybody who read it. Talk about, like we were talking about, a chore to read. You keep your attention for 400 pages. I don't think Arnold's Encyclopedia is 400, but whatever. But yes, barrier entry, right? Yes.
It's not whatever, and that's the problem. It's not whatever because he has 400,000 followers who are following him and listening to him, and that's where they're getting their advice from. I mean, we have to demand better. We have to do better. And we just literally take, it's like you're going, you put something on Google and the first thing that comes up, that's the answer. Instead of digging deeper and digging deeper. We don't critically think anymore. It's a big issue.
Talk about ranking high on Google. One way to do that, write well. Have good content out that people can find. And if you know your stuff and you can present it well, ideally in a perfect world, or if the system works, you will rank higher than people who don't know, you know? But yeah, it's up to the consumer.
Hopefully, you want to trust the system. You want to trust that putting out good information will beat the bad information. But yeah, it's mostly who's loudest, who's got the least clothing on, who's putting
attention.
that out.
Who can grab attention?
That's an attention economy. Yeah. Arnold's Encyclopedia is 800 pages. Only $31 on Amazon, though. Yeah.
Less expensive than
when I
misspoke. I bought it at a bookstore, so there.
There you go. So being a fit professional, we're talking about professionalism. Give us some things you want to see more of. We can talk about the negative all day, but maybe let's try to be positive. Let's talk.
That's where we could use it. Yeah. I think professionalism is treating it like a business. Like we said, with doctors, with chiropractors, with chefs or cooks or mechanics or whatever. It's a business. You don't just get into it because you can. You get into it because it's something you know well and you want to help people, ideally, you know, but treat it like a business. You know, go to your accountant and get your insurance and do the lame stuff like that. You know, get certified, keep your CEUs going. Like I just got recertified months ago after not having a certification. You know, I went through the ISSA, I got recertified. So about old man, when I first got certified, I got a 3-hour video tape with Dr. Hatfield doing a seminar. So as soon as I find a VCR again, I can rewatch it.
You can watch Fred again.
Yeah. One of the smartest guys in the history of the industry. So I think professionalism literally comes from treating it like a profession. Don't treat it like I work out and I'll help you work out. Yeah, sure. Because that'll affect everything. That'll affect the way you present yourself, which it kind of blurs the line with being on social. Having a personal brand is now a thing, but there's still a business brand. There's a professional brand and a personal brand. And I think with personal training or trainers, a lot of times they kind of mix a lot. So start the song. But it's two different things. Like you're you, and then you're you at work. And in almost every other profession, those are two distinct things. And if we can start treating personal training like that, I think that can only help.
Well, if you make personal training personal again, that will help a lot.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and so
sound like you're running for president of something.
Yeah, no, I didn't listen. I'm just throwing a simple idea out there that you meet somebody, you give them an analysis, you do it, you go through your analysis, you check them out, you have a discussion with your client, you design something based on where they're at. Then we'll talk again in about 4 to 6 weeks. But I'll keep assessing you every day you walk in, making sure that what I see works, and I won't be on my phone when I'm. Professionalism also is not being on your phone while you're working with a client, sitting on a bench looking at the phone. I said this to him one time. There was a kid reading scripts in New York. He was an actor, and I said to the manager that he goes, "Is he a good actor?" She asked him if he's a good actor. He said he's going to say he's a good actor. I'm like, "Well, tell him you should act like a trainer, because then be a good trainer." So but you're seeing a lot now. People answering tax. You're seeing a lot of this stuff. People value your time, and people pay for that time, and they should have our attention whole time during that time, unless there's an emergency. And that's the way I look at it. And if you don't want to look at your phone and say, "Well, I keep all my information," but be like an old person like me. Put it on a sheet of paper, and you can actually refer to the sheet of paper. Then people know that they have your time.
I still have the clipboard I used to carry around when I was walking into the gym training. It's a clipboard. Clipboards look awesome. Clipboard and maybe a stopwatch hanging on the thing. That's the uniform. That's it. But
no whistle. No whistle.
When I was a gym teacher, I had the whistle. Yeah. But in-person training is a whole other ball game. That, again, I think the barrier to entry as an in-person trainer is higher than an online trainer. So I think you're more likely to get a good in-person trainer with you in the gym. And I don't care what gym it is. Like Planet Fitness gets bagged on, but it's supervision. It's somebody saying, "Do this, do this, do this." So yeah, treating it like getting the one-on-one attention for 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. Which is also, like, online is too easy to have 75 clients a week, which is just untenable. It's just not, it can't be a thing, because you're not giving that attention to those dozens and dozens of clients that you would, like whatever a heavy workload was in the gym, a 10-hour day, a 12-hour day, 4 or 5 days a week, whatever you were lucky enough to build, you make that connection, that one-on-one connection that you can't always online.
Well, I think my thing with online is that there's certain people, Bo's one of them, who's a good trainer. I trust him. I know he knows what he's talking about, and I trust him. Most trainers that are online aren't of the same capacity as Bo. And I think, like you said, the entry, the way to get in is too easy. I'll go back to where we started and say to you, the consumer has to also be engaged and understand what they're getting and get the appropriate information. And I say this all the time. If Susie looks great, right? So Susie over there looks great. That's wonderful. You're never going to look like her. I don't care what you got. You're never going to look like her. You're never, ever going to look like her. You should work on being the best person that you can be. So a program for her may not be tailor-made for you, which it isn't tailor-made for you. But when it's all said and done, what we run into is these replication of programming for each individual person with no personal training and no personal attention given to you to help you. Your body's supposed to change. It's not always in pounds. Maybe it's in movement patterns, maybe it's in pain levels. But if you're not getting some form of change in your body, there's something wrong.
Some level of improvement, not just change.
Correct.
We want improvement.
Correct.
But boilerplate workout programs is another big issue. That's, again, there's a lot more online. You find these things where somebody will write a program, and fortunately, the way the online world is, sometimes they get called out on it. Like, because clients might be on a discussion forum, they might be in a private Facebook group and say, he gave you that program, but I did that 8 weeks ago, and he said he wrote that for me. So, like, there have been instances of coaches getting busted doing, just stamping out, everyone does this, but I don't tell everybody that I gave everybody this. It's a shortcut, it's a time save for the trainer, but it's, unless they're upfront with the client saying, this is how I do things. You do this program, everyone does this program, I'll check in with you, but everyone does this. You're not paying for programming skills. You're paying for, the
accountability or tweaking.
Yes, that's a big thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I think we covered a lot of fun. I think we solved the entire fitness industry today. So in terms of writing, though, coming back, I think that's the big one. For the consumer that we're talking about out there, other than your writing, Shane's writing, any other things to look out for? I do find a lot of the types of websites, and I get asked to contribute sometimes, and I'll be on the article, and there's all these like pop-ups, especially on mobile. It's a little clunky to read. I don't know if that's something that can be done away with. I don't know, but yeah, do you have any insights, any inputs on things to look out for? Again, comparing to, I think that's the biggest thing is sniffing out the BS, calling out the BS, short of being like, hey, this one account is ridiculous. Like the things he's saying, there's a lot of red flags in there. Even if some of the stuff he's saying is somewhat good, even if he looks good, what's your best BS detector that we can kind of give to the audience?
One thing that I would do as a consumer, if I was, or when I am looking for new information, either a coach to onboard for a writing assignment or whatever, or as somebody I want information from, I look at credentials. I look at, okay, who is this person? Where did they come from? What does it seem like they know? And if their bio is, I was 200 pounds when I was 16, and now at 24, I'm 4% body fat, but that's it. Like, I don't need their information. I know there are more credible sources. If there's somebody that has a slew of letters after their name, CSCS and CPT and DPT and everything, and their bio says, I've been in the industry for 20 years and I've worked with these athletes, and I work, verifiable credentials still matter, just like you would do with a doctor, or like a doctor, you would get a reference. You would ask somebody who had a trainer, give me your trainer's name. Give me your cardiologist's name. Like a personal referral, huge, which we know as trainers. Like that's a huge source of new clients. Like people that you helped telling other people, because it's verifiable proof that you know your stuff. Other than like Bo helped Bo's mobility. No. He has more credentials than that,
Good genetics too. Good genetics.
That always helps.
So let me ask you another question. So, is there anything out there that you'd be like, stay away from, or because I literally believe that people look at something and take it for what it is and don't check anything. You read a study. We did a thing on studies, and be like, oh, we tested 8 people in this spot, and they're all meat's bad for you. You can never have a piece of meat again. And people don't go further than that first step into that research. And as a person who's reading something, is there something out there that they should be on the lookout for? Because there's an incredible amount of information, as you know, on fitness, and I'm not reading all of it, nor do I trust most people that are out there.
Good, that's fair. With the amount of people that's out there, don't trust most, because most, by definition, are whatever. I mean, like you keep saying, at some point, the reader, the client, the person seeking the information has some responsibility. Like, if they're okay following a study done on 8 75-year-old women that proved whatever, then fine. Good luck. Do that. See how it goes. But the onus is on the user to some degree. Nobody likes fact checking because it takes time and it takes effort, and facts are apparently opinions now. Like, you have to just do the work. Like, there's no getting around it. Treat training like you would any other health decision. You wouldn't Google local doctor and go with like the 5th guy because his name sounds cool. Like, no, like be smarter, do better. There.
No, listen, I think you're dead on. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
I was going to answer. Actually, I just heard a really good podcast with Lane Norton. I think it was with Thomas DeLauer, who sometimes can be a little salesy or come across a little weird. But it's funny because Thomas DeLauer will actually kind of do this. The thing that I want to answer Corona's question if I can. I know Chris is our guest here, but one thing that I always look out for is when they say a new study came out, and I want to highlight that concept, because if somebody's talking about like one study, not just what were the specifics of it, but that's a big one for me. That's a yellow to red flag. Thomas DeLauer, he's done a few where he's like, a new study came out, but he'll go a lot more in depth about it in the videos I've seen of him do it. But that is definitely something where, if they can't speak to the specifics of that study, there's no benefit to talking about one study, even if it had 1,000 people in it, even if the power of it, and we can talk the depths of like what research really means. Even one study doesn't change the concept of, no one's doing meat or bicep curls or whatever the thing is. So one study, that's a red flag for me.
One study is something. One study is like one person worked for me as a trainer, so I'm going to tell you how to do. But again, if it's not going to immediately destroy you, try it. Try something for 4 weeks. See how you feel with no meat. Try something for, I did that actually once in whatever. I did a vegan experiment where I went vegan 4 weeks and vegetarian the 4 weeks prior. So it was 8 weeks. And I wrote up a summary and I submitted it. And my editor said, "Oh, I forgot you were doing that. We had somebody else do the project." So there's an aside.
Not fun.
So what you learn?
It's hard to be vegan. And I genuinely felt bad. It was the end of the year. It was right around Thanksgiving. I genuinely felt bad for the turkey sitting on the table. I was empathetic for the turkey. I was like, "Thank you, turkey." It was very peculiar. It was genuinely like peculiar.
But how did you feel physically?
Fine. I lost 12 pounds without really trying. I was like, it was fine. It was something. Coconut water is yummy. That's it.
Okay.
Rice protein powder was terrible at the time.
Probably still is.
Yeah, I mean, what were you saying? I don't even know.
That's all right. I think that's a good place to wrap it up a bit. Be respectful of your time. We appreciate you being on here, Chris. I think we covered a lot of good stuff without, again, devolving into negative old man like these darn kids. And I think we did a good job. I think we stayed a little away from that. Kind of.
We'll have to bring them back with him and Shane together when they start their product. I think we should bring them both on together.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what that turns into for sure.
I'm very, very excited.
I think we should at a minimum, me and Corona will write one blog post of our choosing within the next 30 days by the end of March. Are you down for that, David?
I can try that. I'm sure. I got to wait. I'm in.
He's literally challenging you.
I'm in. He challenged me on a lot of things.
I'm doing it too. I'm doing it too.
Let me tell you something. He put me into a squat challenge, and it actually helped me. So I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
buddies.
I'll give him totally that. But we should bring you back again. Let me wrap this up. Let me see. We'd like to thank Chris for sharing his story with us. And if you'd like to follow Chris, you can check him out at. Where can they check you out at?
Instagram at chriscolucci.ny, because there are several of us. .ny.
Put that in the show notes, Bo. Don't forget, the only way we can grow is for all of you to leave a review. Share this episode with friends, or subscribe to stay in the loop. And most importantly, act. Remember, we're sponsored by Fit Care Physiotherapy, with physiotherapy and wellness, where the emphasis is to focus on your fitness so you can avoid the healthcare space. Demand better for your body, your mind, and your future. We'll be back soon with more inspiring guests and thought-provoking conversation. Until then, keep demanding better. Peace.
Hope you got 1%.